Good afternoon. I'm fascinated by networks and networking that leads to change. Networking connections lead to inspiration, helping us find new ideas and then to real change. I will give you two elements of the story. I will tell you about networking for change on a personal way, what has happened with a few examples. Then what happens if you really want to have a go and create a network yourselves. We really hope you will be inspired to be one of those people, as Matthias said, to lead change. So on the personal level, I'll give you two stories that led to change because networking leads to things, and some of it is very serendipitous. The others are very organized as one is looking for information. What has happened to me, this is my personal story about change. After 20 years of living in the United States, I have convinced my parents that I'm going to be living in New York. I bought an apartment. Little did I know that when attending TED conference in 2011, waiting in line for the gift bag line, these gift bags are just simply fantastic. I heard Turkish being spoken. So there were two people just behind me, the general manager of Microsoft Turkey, and Ali Üstündağ, who's here with us today. He is the curator of TEDx Reset. They were talking in Turkish, and I jumped the queue backwards, and I joined them. I said, "Hi, this is Melek, I'm Turkish, how are you?" And that led, and this is a very funny coincidence because in the conference there are about 1,700 people attending. So I introduced myself, and a month later I got a job offer to move to Turkey. My mother, had finally given the okay that we'll make it work to have this long-distance relationship between Turkey and US. So I had planned my entire life, decorated my first home, had my first mortgage, but then through networking, this encounter, something happened, and I moved to Turkey. So networking can lead to this serendipitous change, and when you see something, you'll take the action. The second kind of networking that I want to give an example of, and just forgive me for comparing myself with Picasso, is what has happened with Picasso and what he did when he was looking for inspiration and a way to make a name for himself. These are Picasso's self-portraits. In 1901, he has a different style. In 1907, he has a completely different style with Cubism, with the influence of Cubism. It's the same person painting himself, but a totally different experience and totally different way of thinking. So what happens most of the time for us, new ideas do not emerge completely out of a vacuum. New ideas emerge when we make new connections between two old ideas. And to give you this backstory of this, in 1860s, the camera was invented, so photography became something that would be in people's living rooms. And painters were really freaking out because the way they were painting until then was pretty much like life. And if this camera takes the picture, what's the difference between a painting and the photography? In 1906, Matisse had a sensational success with this painting called The Happiness of Life. And as a modern artist, for the first time, he got a commission. He got a paid commission and to earn his living. And this painting is the first modern painting that differentiates from the ordinary kind of painting where the figures are distorted, the colors are very vivid. It's moving away from painting the life as is. So Picasso wanted to learn from Matisse how to be successful. How can I just get this paid gig myself? And he did go for dinner, networking. For once, nothing has happened. In the second dinner that they went, and this is a time that's very well documented as people were keeping diaries, Matisse, Picasso, and the African sculptor went to dinner. And he was so inspired with the angularity of the features and knowing that he needs to move away from the natural form, he came home and painted this, The Ladies of Avignon, his first cubic piece of art. So what has happened with networking is he got to make these different connections work, to create, to innovate. So this is on a personal level, what happens when you network for change, when you're looking for change, or when you are not looking for change. And what if you want to activate a network to create change? I am the founder of the Turkish Women's International Network, a platform for women with cultural, professional, and family ties to Turkey. What we are trying to do, and our goal is to inspire women with positive stories. In the newspapers, what we hear is always the negative, the sensational, not the success, not the encouragement, a lot of criticism. So we wanted to create a platform, and since 2010, we've been working on it. So if you want to create a network for change, these are the learnings that we have that we would like to share with you. First, you have to be authentic. What you do is not for your self-promotion, for the purpose. There is a goal, you have to be authentic, and you stick by it. We have 4 values at Turkish Wind that we have declared: curiosity, courage, transparency, and generosity. And we are really trying to live by it. Be easy to follow. What you do, make sure people understand what you do and they can follow what you do. That's very important. And then while doing all of this, be accessible. You know, don't live in the, if you are doing field work, you gotta be in the field, you're gonna be with people. A lot of what we do has changed over time, listening to our members, speakers, what they would like to do. And have your story easy to be digested and communicated. Stories really travel far. And I wanna just tell you one more time, the authenticity is so important. Building trust in a community is super important when you are building a network for change. This little bird has a relationship with the alligator and does not mind going into the mouth to do some cleaning. They have a mutually understanding that it's going to be okay. There is this element of trust. So with every relationship that you are trying to build that's authentic, you're going to go into some dungeon. You're just going to take this leap of faith. It has to be built on trust. And if you are clear in communication, accessible, easy to follow, people will go out of their comfort zone to help you. And the stories is what we collect at Turkish Wind, and that's how we try to make a difference in the public good. We do a lot of different programs that I will not tell you about, but what we would like to do is share positive stories, stories of encouragement, and women have been most generous about sharing their stories. And what we found out is when ordinary women tell their stories, where they rise to challenges and display extraordinary courage, those stories travel the furthest. If she can do it, so can I. If this person has the courage to make a difference in my country, so can I. And I'm very happy to say some of our former Turkish Wind speakers will be with us throughout the day. I want to share with you a few stories in closing. This is Elena. She's Italian. She was very depressed with her consulting job in Italy. So she took some coaching and decided that, you know, she wants to be an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur, she decided on the food category, ice cream, the favorite. And looking at the map, using her consulting skills, she targeted Turkey. She decided she's gonna have a market that's big enough to have a chain and to have a go with it. With speaking no Turkish, no connection to Turkey, no Turkish partner, she launched the Moa ice creams. and she's working on her chain every day, making it work. Her story, her courage to start a business in Turkey, knowing nothing but having a target, inspires so many others who speak the language, have the money and connections, but they just can't get going. The second story I want to share is Duygu's story. Duygu has been blind since she's 2. She first went to a special blind school and then to a mixed school against the advice of her teachers to have this education, and her friends in school helped her along the way. She graduated from university. She's 25, now works at Microsoft. She, in her spare time, is teaching blind leaders at Yanguru Academy. She's coaching them. And in her Turkish Win talk, she used slides. We didn't give her a break. She gave this kind of a presentation in 6 minutes, where we just helped paging down knowing her talk. Then I want to tell a story of Nadine that ties to Ergem's story. Nadine works at Microsoft as well. She is the assistant of the general manager. And having seen the story unfold on Facebook, I'm a friend of hers. As this Fatih Orman project, this forest project was being discussed and everyone was very trying to be activist, Ergem first launched this and led this change.org petition. And Nadine was not very satisfied with some of the conversation because, through Yeşilist, the press had started to talk about it. The ministry was saying it was leased, and it was not leased, and then all of us saying it was leased, so there was a confusion. So Nadine said, okay, if the property is leased, and if I park my car, I'm going to get a ticket, and it's going to be an entity that's going to give me this ticket. So what she did is she parked her car and posted the car receipts on Facebook, and overnight she had 2,000 shares. And that's the receipt also that was in media, and right now she has about 9,000 shares. All these talks and stories of women choosing extraordinary paths are online at turkishwin.com for everyone to find positive role models. Throughout the network, we also make connections. We introduced Kiva.org to its first partner for microcredit in Turkey. These change-making actions happen, they don't happen over time. You gotta have patience. We've been just working on it for a short 3 years. There's a lot more to come when we help the students on campus activate women in business clubs, and they can network with their alumni and find their own role models. In closing, I really urge you to have a go at it. If you want to make change, if you want to create a network, you can do a lot by inspiring others, bringing people together, and it will be a wonderful journey with a lot of people trusting you in the authentic conversation. May inspiration networking be with you all the time. Thank you.